My client, Jonathan Donahue, is not guilty of his actions in that Burger King because he's unable to distinguish right from wrong. When he entered that establishment and beat Mr. Porter, he had no idea that what he was doing was wrong. That's a difficult concept for us to grasp, but understanding his mental health condition can certainly help. My client was unaware his actions were wrong. Jonathan is a diagnosed psychopath. Now, we've heard from Dr. Jeremiah Bloor that psychopathy is indeed a clinical diagnosis characterized by such things as impulsivity, irresponsibility, shallow emotions, lack of empathy, guilt, remorse, pathological lying, manipulation, superficial charm, persistent violation of social norms, among others. The point here is that psychopathy is unique. It's not the same as psychopathology or sociopathy, in that it arises specifically from an impaired emotional processing system. An individual claiming insanity, legally speaking, is not necessarily a psychopath, and a psychopath is not necessarily insane. Once again, to get back to the point, and Dr. Jeremiah Bloor makes this very clear, psychopathy is unique, and it's not to be hid under an umbrella of any other medical or legal term for that matter. Psychopaths, back to what Dr. Jeremiah Bloor gets at, have a broken emotional system. Now, they're without conscience, and they do not feel empathy. We've confirmed my client's diagnosis using a well-respected, validated diagnostic tool that scores subjects on 20 behavioral items, each scored a 0, 1, or 2. The final score, a score between 0 and 40, helps us to understand and discern if a patient can be diagnosed as a psychopath. Now, adults who score over 30 on the test are diagnosed as psychopathic. Now, my client, once again, I want to underscore that this test is well respected and validated. My client scored a 34 on this test. Now, Dr. Bloor does then go ahead and add that there is no effective treatment for psychopathy at this time. At this point, I want to return to Dr. Bloor's comments on moral socialization. That's the process by which humans learn right from wrong. He explains that when children hurt someone, they feel empathy. They feel bad for the pain or discomfort or distress that they've caused another person. And consequently, this leads them to understand that their actions were inappropriate. Now, psychopaths do not and cannot experience moral socialization in the same way because of their disorder. How can we reasonably hold Jonathan responsible when he was never able to learn right from wrong? Dr. Roger here supports and furthers the idea of dysfunctional moral socialization in psychopaths by explaining that the violence inhibition mechanism plays a significant role. Now, this mechanism essentially creates anxiety in normal humans when they recognize other humans in pain or distress. So, a genetically induced dysfunctional violence inhibition mechanism provides further evidence to suggest that my client does not understand right from wrong like the rest of us. His mechanism does not work in the same way, and he cannot discern right from wrong in the same way. Now, to move on to another genetic disposition, Dr. here also presented peer-reviewed publications that discuss the implications of the MAOA enzyme. Individuals with the gene for low MAOA enzyme activity are more likely to engage in antisocial behavior. Now, Donahue was genetically tested, and his genes confirmed low MAOA activity. This is now the second genetic disposition, which again contributes significantly to the actions of my client, and he certainly cannot be held fully responsible for his actions because of this unfortunate genetic disposition. Now, after reviewing what we've heard from these two respected intellectuals in their fields, in considering the clinical diagnosis of psychopathy, as well as the unlucky genetic disposition of my client, it becomes evident, if not obvious, that Jonathan Donahue is not able to distinguish right from wrong, and the mitigating circumstances require full consideration in this case. Thank you.